The Committee of the Whole, Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. Let the record show that all aldermen are present. A couple quick items on the agenda here. First is pertains to dog licensing. So I've had a couple residents come to me, ask me to look into this, and honestly, it was something that I've noticed registering and re-registering my own dog. The current status of dog licenses in the city, and I passed out, I asked Tiffany to give each of us a copy of the dog licensing Article 2. As it currently stands, we discovered that there is a discrepancy in the fee structure as it pertains to, let's see here, Section A, subsection 1. That goes against actually what is in our actual fee structure. The council voted on a couple of years ago to increase the cost of registering to $15. So we need to amend and correct that going forward. Rather than having a code change, it's recommended that we'll just make a modification here to say that the council has the right to change the fee from time to time. And we just keep updating our fee structure. But what it uncovered more is the efficiency, or really the inefficiency of registering dogs in the city. So from 2016 to 2018, you see we average around 550 dogs being registered, which generates around $6,000 in revenue. But according to the 2010 census, we've got about 6,000 households, and about, according to the ASPCA, 60% of American households have at least one dog. So what this tells me is that the number of dogs that are registered in the city is vastly underrepresented. The revenues are vastly under-collected. There's more, probably to the tune of 3,000 dogs in the city, yet only 500 are being registered. So this is a discussion item. This is meant to start getting the ball rolling to provide feedback on what are solutions to make this a more effective process, a more effective system. For one, we could do nothing, leave it as is, but I would just be in favor of eliminating the registration process altogether. We no longer truly enforce the registration of dogs in the city. As I reached out to the police chief, he said under the Carucci administration we lost the animal control officer. That position was eliminated during he thought the Carucci administration. If we have no actual enforcement process, then I guess why are we doing it to generate $6,000 in revenue? So I mean, that's kind of the first thought that comes to my mind. To re-register your dog is a pain, it's a hassle, and you know, I get a letter from Lens. He says, hey, your annual registration is up, you got to come in. So then I bring in the money, the check, so on and so forth, and then they say, hey, you need a rabies vaccination form. So then I go to my vet, and then I got to get that, and then I come back. It provides a hassle. Other municipalities provide multi-year automatic renewals. Dogs' rabies vaccinations can go up to 3 years. Maybe we should look at, that's another suggestion, maybe we create a multi-year registration so you're not having to do it every single year. I think most people just end up forgetting or just saying the heck with it. So maybe we should look at doing 2-year or 3-year registrations. Ultimately, how do you solve this problem? So I laid out some different, the data. Again, we're not meant to solve this tonight, but I would appreciate your feedback and your thoughts going forward with this. Anything initially?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit.
Okay.
We prosecute a lot of, I'd say, cases for both unlicensed dogs and dogs that are on the run, or animals that are on the run. To date, we've collected $2,400 and fines and reimbursement for those particular matters. And I don't think we can actually, and I'd have to go back and look, but I think it's an Ag and Markets requirement that we have to license dogs. So I don't know if it would be a scenario where we can just get rid of dog licensing altogether.
Could you get rid of the fee connected to licensing the dog? Is that a possibility, or that has to?
I guess if that's for the intention of encouraging people to license, that would be something you could do. But I would have to check. I think a portion of our license goes to the state Ag and Markets.
About $700 a year goes to New York State.
That too. But come to city court on every other Thursday, and I'm in here, on dog cases predominantly.
So in those dog cases, most of those dogs are unregistered, and part of the process is they have to then register the dog.
For example, if the dog is picked up, taken to the SPCA, they will register the dog and send us the paperwork. If I'm in court and I've got somebody that's got a dog that's running at large, we go through and we research the city's database to see if that particular dog has been licensed, and if they haven't been licensed, then we'll issue them a ticket when they come to court that day on the other charge. So we do, I wouldn't say this is one of our top priorities of enforcement, but we do, both through the police department and the city attorney's office, we do prosecute and get involved in a lot of these cases. More than I'd like to, but we do it. So the enforcement aspect, while not perfect, is there.
So how do we explain there's only 500 registered dogs approximately, or 550?
I think going back to, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, may have been before you came on the council, we had been going back and forth in the budget process trying to secure funds to do a dog census, where we sent people around to knock on doors, see if they have dogs at the houses, and get those registered. So that would be the first thing I would start with, is looking at funding a dog census, perhaps for next summer, to maybe hire some college kids that are home to do this. It'd be a good thing to do that way. We had estimated probably around, Bill, I can't remember, was it 10 or 15,000? We estimated the cost of that dog census at the time. And we haven't done one in, I don't know how long. It was originally part of one of the SPCA contracts, but it never got, they didn't have the manpower or the resources to do it. So, that would be the first thing I would do, attack it that way.
Okay.
And then we go from there.
Okay.
Nick,
Good deal.
I have a quick question. So you were just speaking about the enforcement and when you're trying those cases.
Yeah.
If we took it off the books and you had a vicious dog running amok through the city, neighborhoods, terrorizing homes, we've had that happen. Is it tougher to then enforce? Is it tougher to do what you have to do if we eliminate that?
Well, I think that you'll want to, it'd be easier to identify the owner, certainly, and it'd be the court would be able to take judicial notice of the fact that this dog is licensed to this person, therefore they can't use a defense at a trial saying that they were, it wasn't my dog. You'd have prima facie evidence of that. So to that extent, yes, it would help. We've had a couple of dangerous dog cases, but those aren't, we try and let Ag and Markets and the DEC get involved in those.
What's the fine? Maybe you've said it and I just missed it, but what's the fine for having an unlicensed dog?
Honestly, I can't tell you off the top of my head.
So I'm all in favor of dropping, like, if there's a financial, if we're trying to get more people to register their dogs, right? So we want to lower the barrier to doing that. Like, I don't know, whatever the minimum it needs to be that we need to send to Ags and agricultural markets or whatever. But then make the fine for not doing it so ridiculously high that anybody would be insane not to do it.
I think that's the fines can be a deterrence.
Right.
Collecting them is a different story.
Well, fine, but like we've said so many times in this body, right? We don't need to. Our goal isn't 100%.
I think going back to the statement you made regarding the smoking in the parks.
Right.
Just the sign alone would be a deterrent.
Right.
So a heavy fine alone could be a deterrent, or in this case, a incentive for somebody to go and get the dog registered.
Go register my dog for $10, or
now,
get
I'm going to share a
$1,000
story with you that happened today. Honest to God, this happened today with me, and fortunately, the registration probably saved me $600 in SPCA fines. I'm in court in Little Valley. I get a call from my wife. My dogs are out. How did she get called? Because they had tags on them, registered with the city. They called the, I don't know if the neighbors called dispatch or they called the clerk's office. They were able to give them my wife's number. They called my wife. She said, yes, go ahead, put them back in the house. So that, from my standpoint, was beneficial, because otherwise the SPCA comes out. Now I've got to reimburse the city $300 per dog for having the SPCA come out and get it. So from a practical standpoint, as a dog owner, I don't know why you wouldn't,
Well, there's an awful lot that aren't.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's the point, right? What do we have? 10% is licensed.
Yeah. And those those 10% that are licensed, with the exception of my dogs today that got out, or some of the people that I've prosecuted. And honestly, when we're doing a dog at large case, running at large, if the dog was registered, we tend to, work with them a lot more than if the dog is not.
Okay.
So just a little perspective on where this comes from.
Then, and again, maybe it's not about doing away with it, making it more fit. Like, is there a way? Is there anything that says you have to do it every single year? If I have a rabies tag that gives me 3 years, could I not go ahead and do a 3-year?
That's a valid argument that maybe it corresponds with the renewal with the rabies tag.
Because
and we can look and make sure that as long as we're not inconsistent with what Ag and Markets requires, we have a lot of flexibility on how we do it.
Okay.
And that was one of my initial thoughts, was the reason Ags and Markets most likely puts this in there is to make sure that people are getting rabies shots and parvo and distemper and all those different things that your vet's office is doing normally. If you just have a dog at your house and it lives there and you feed it and that's all you care about, and you don't care to register it and things like that, most likely these people have dogs that don't have rabies shots because maybe they can't afford it and they don't understand that a dog is just like a human. You have to keep up on its health, you have to keep up on its food and its its exercise, all these other things. They don't realize the financial burdens of it, which the financial burden of a rabies shot might seem like a lot to them, but for the kid down the block, when this kid, when that kid gets bit and the dog had rabies or got, I think it's a major public health concern. So that's one of the reasons why I could see why Ags and Markets would require it, and by us doing the legwork, I think we're keeping our citizens safer. So that's why a few years ago I brought up the fact that we should also register cats, because I feel there's more cats in the city than there are dogs, and I'm sure most of those probably don't have the rabies shots. So, but to that same,
I mean, there has to be a way to incentivize people to register their dogs, and I know it's something that we've kicked around a number of times. Hopefully the potential of a dog park in the city, but maybe that is one way that you have to make sure, verify your dog is registered in order to get access to a dog park. Because the data doesn't lie, right? We're seeing that it's vastly underutilized right now. So how do we try to incentivize? How do we make it easier? Paul made a good point too, as far as, does it come down to a lack of a fine having teeth in it? So let's kick this around further, and we'll revisit this in a couple weeks. Anything else? Okay. The next item got resolved. I talked to Nick ahead of time. We're good there. I'll make anything else for Committee of the Whole? Seeing nothing, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Could I get a second, please? Seconded by Alderman Adriano. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion is carried. Adjourned. All right. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting, the Olean Common Council for Tuesday, October 8th, 2019. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Witte. Alderman Adjournment.
Here.
Alderman Gonzalez.
Here.
Alderman Dougherty.
Here.
Alderman Smith.
Here.
Alderman George.
Here.
And Alderman Crawford.
Here, please rise for the invocation.
So usually my prayers are about the city and blessing the residents and giving us wisdom, but tonight, because we're honoring everyone that's fighting breast cancer, who survived cancer, and those who have had their heavenly healing, my prayer tonight is for those. So I ask that you all pray or bow your heads. Father God, we humbly pray for all of those who are fighting cancer. Give them hope and courage they need each day. Comfort them in their pain, bless them with healing, strengthen their family, friends, and caregivers. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading, correcting, and approval of the minutes of the previous regular meeting.
The regular meeting of the Olean Common Council was held on Tuesday, September 24th, 2019 at 7 p.m. Present, Alderman Crawford, Alderman Witte, Alderman Andreano, Alderman Gonzalez, Alderman Dougherty, Alderman Smith, and Alderman George.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous regular meeting. Could I get a second, please? Second. Second by Alderman George. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Committee reports and unfinished council business,
We have none.
and communications from the mayor.
National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. National Breast Cancer Awareness Month honors women who lost their lives to breast cancer and recognizes the survivors who continue to courageously to fight the disease. Breast cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in women, but death cancer rate has been dropping since 1989. This decrease, primarily in women younger than 50, is believed to be a result of early detection through screening, increased awareness, and better treatments. Therefore, in recognition that increased awareness is a tool in fighting breast cancer, I quote, I, William J. Aiello, Mayor of the City of Olean, on behalf of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim October as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the City of Olean. Furthermore, I quote, I commend the Olean professional firefighters for wearing special shirts to honor those who have fought the disease, and I urge all women and their families in the City of Olean to get the facts about mammography and other screening methods. In testimony, therefore, I quote, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of Olean, the 8th day of October 2019.
Thank you, Lance. We have, I believe it's Captain, I don't believe, I know it's Captain Jim Bennett, and Troop, I guess you call it Troop D or Crew D, how do you? Platoon D, here. Come on down, guys. Line up here. Chief, come on over, please. Chief Kyle. And one other thing to be noted, this is the crew who, a week or so ago, 2 Saturdays ago, spent the entire day putting the playground together. Guys, line up right across the center. You want to commend the Olean Fire Department for all they do and for their support for breast cancer awareness. Thank you, guys. Okay, I'll present this to you. We can display that at the station. Thank you, everybody.
Good job, man.
Thanks, guys.
Some of them.
Do they wear it year round?
October.
Just the month of October?
We're not allowed to wash them either.
You got something?
Manufacturing Day.
You got something else?
What's that?
We have one more for manufacturers, Manufacturers Month proclamation.
The city of Olean is proud of its manufacturing sector and corporate leaders who are reaching out to the local community to grow candidates for the high-skilled jobs they need to fill their workforce. Manufacturing is depending on innovation and fresh approaches to fuel productivity and economic development, which in turn expands employment opportunities and boosts the standard of living and economic vitality. The resulting Dreaming, Do It is a national campaign that has been taking hold in the city of Olean, and the following business have invited 600 students from 15 area schools and their manufacturing and educational institutions to promote training, education, and career choices that will grow our community. Cutco Corporation, Siemens, Pierce Steel Fabricators, Mesa Mechanical Services, Napoleon Engineering Services, Solid Paxi, Scott Water Steel, Eaton, Keystone Tool and Die, Jamestown Community College, MTI, St. Bonaventure University, Boundless Connections, Fiber Cell, Fitzpatrick and Weller, Total Piping Solutions, Airgas, OSM, American Refining Group, Allegheny Bradford Corporation, Holiday Valley, Cultures Lumber, Cattaraugus Bosses, University of Pittsburgh at Bradford, the National Association of Manufacturers, and NAM, and the Manufacturers Association of the Southern Tier, MAST, have devoted October 4th, 2019 as National Manufacturing Day to educate and prepare students and stimulate their interest in engineering, technology, productive work habits, and other skills needed to fill many of the specialty jobs available in our manufacturing community. This year, Dream It, Do It will provide a month of activities celebrating Olean manufacturing base. The city of Olean is supportive to the Dream It, Do It partnership between our local manufacturing sector and our schools that will provide the needed skill to our area's young people and keep them in the community. The number of skilled manufacturing jobs in the city appears to be on the rise, and the efforts are an attempt to turn the local skilled labor shortage around, which could provide the additional benefit of increasing the city's population over time and improving our economic vitality. Therefore, I quote, I, William J. Aiello, Mayor of the City of Olean, New York, USA, on behalf of the Common Council, do hereby proclaim October the Manufacturing Month in the City of Olean, USA. In testimony thereof, then I quote again, I hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the seal of the City of Olean, the 9th day of October 2019.
Thank you, Linus. We have with us tonight Evelyn Sabini from Dream and Do It, who Evelyn puts together the whole program, and these 600 students that we're talking about in here are go out to the different manufacturers, and they will go there and see what they do. And I'll give you just one quick little story. A couple of years ago, I was at Dresser with a group and heard some of the kids talking about calculus and that going on in school, and they asked one of the lathe operators, you use math, and yes, and the operator said that when I was in high school, I always wondered why I took calculus, and I would never use it. And he says, I use it every day of my life here in the job. So that put it in perspective to the kids going through. Evelyn, we have a proclamation here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You want to say anything?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. We have started our manufacturing month, and we've had a few tours already, and we have gone to a number of our local manufacturers, and the students are very excited. And just to follow up on one of your stories, we've had many full circle stories by people that have given the tours, people that have graduated from Olean High School, went off to school, have come back to work at Cutco, Siemens, many of the companies in our area. And one just other comment I'd just like to make, I can't thank the teachers enough for all that they do to prepare for this. It's quite a process to get them out for a field trip, and they do all of this work for them because they know that this is an opportunity for them to see their future here in Olean, New York. So thank you.
Thank you. Sharon.
Sure, absolutely. Good stuff. All right, miscellaneous communications.
We have none.
City official reports.
Monthly report of the city auditor, month ended September 2019.
Proposed legislation and referrals.
PL 75-19 by Alderman Adjournment, referred to Public Safety Committee by Council President.
All right, there are a couple of referrals not on the agenda. Just want to state those quick. PL 76-19 by Mayor Aiello to confirm the mayoral reappointment of Greg Piota as city assessor for a term October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2025. Referred to the regular meeting Tuesday, October 8th, 2019 for resolution by Council President. PL 77-19 by Alderman Dougherty to amend the City of Olean Code of Ordinances, Chapter 26, Article 3, Division 5, to remove taxicab rate restrictions, referred to City Operations Committee by Council President. All right, next we have, before jumping into public comment, I would like to give the opportunity to any of the aldermen at this time to make a statement. Seeing none, will the clerk please read the public comment?
The public comment portion of the Common Council regular meeting is established to provide members of the community with the opportunity to publicly state their views, voice their concerns, or to provide input pertaining to any issue affecting city government. Additionally, the mayor, Common Council members, and city department heads encourage any person with questions to contact them at their offices.
All right, at this time I would invite anyone in the audience, in the public, to step up to the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes.
Good evening, Patson Janice, 309 North 5th Street. 2 years ago, I said that the city needed to put together a strategy for broadband and a long-term plan for building out the city's infrastructure for digital communications and also to better secure and maintain them. One of the people currently on the council mocked me at the time, saying that I just wanted the city to pay my cable bill. That is not the case. I'm a little surprised that he didn't try to start a GoFundMe for that, like he did for me to get trash tickets.
Please stay on topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I don't know if any of you heard what happened in Bradford not too long ago. Bradford city government was hit with a ransomware attack. Now you tend to think little places around here that don't mean a lot to people are going to be immune. This is Bradford. Bradford was crippled for almost a week in their city government. They're just now getting back up to speed. Can you imagine what would happen here in Olean with that kind of attack? Could you imagine what would happen if the schools every computer in the school system was shut down and useless for a week? Could you imagine what would happen with our police or fire departments if their computers, which they're ever more reliant on, went down? The council's computers went down then, but it is a serious issue. And I'm asking the council to put the mockery aside and seriously consider what I've said and I'm saying again. We need a long-term strategy in this city to prepare for and guard against, and most importantly, rapidly recover from these kinds of attacks. And we need a long-term strategy to improve our high-tech communications to help attract new high-tech industries into the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. St. Jonas. Anyone else?
Yes, I may run over 1 or 2 minutes if that's okay.
5 minutes.
Okay, I know, I'm just saying.
Oh,
Okay, Kevin Bartholomew, 737 Bishop Street. Okay, first thing. And I know you're going to be voting on the whole thing with the tobacco and the vaping and everything like that. Personally, myself, I think at 18, you should be allowed to get tobacco, you should be able to drink, at that point in time, you can serve your country, you can go to jail, you can do whatever. I understand the whole tobacco thing with the young lungs and the littering and the cigarette butts. I hate smoking. And I think vaping is stupid. But I don't think vaping even needs to be put into something, into that same category. I don't see what's going to hurt anybody, and I don't believe there's much litter, if any, involved in it. Okay, that being said, what's going on at the end of Queen Street? I know there's one person on here said he didn't want to hear the word paper street. From Queen to the Windfall was a paper street. Now there's a road there. There's a street up there. Who put that in? I talked to somebody there who had no idea what was going on. They said it could be something at the town, it could be something here. I drove up by there. The sign to sell lots here. I said, did somebody buy this? Did somebody buy it? Did somebody voluntarily put a road in the city's behalf without the proper zoning and whatever?
It's not the city, it's the town of Olean.
The town. Okay, it's a town road, but I believe that the paper street in there.
It's not a paper street, it's a street that hasn't been opened, it's a real street.
Well, I believe at one time it was on paper. That's what I'm saying. At one time, I remember seeing it in the past, and it was on paper. If it got moved over to the town, that's fine. But I said that, and I think that if people send me pictures here, what's going on? People don't know. I mean, it'd be nice. I mean, I think that's a beautiful shot all the way out to it. I think it's a great idea. I'm surprised it wasn't done years ago. But I also know that in that same general area, there was a problem with somebody who wanted to build houses to rent to the seniors at at a good rate, and they were going to supply the maintenance, the mowing, the plowing, the sidewalks, and everything else. But there was a problem with other property owners. I did not realize that was in the town, but I do remember seeing that in the maps as it says it's a paper, right under it said Queen, but I could be incorrect. I'm never wrong. But at that point there, thank you very much.
And Mr. Bartholomew, I would encourage you, if anyone ever has questions, I'm sure the mayor's office, takes phone calls on any questions, that they shouldn't be going to you if they have questions. Tell them to reach out to the city for the right answers.
Many times they tell them to go to the city,
Sure.
go to the Alderman.
Yeah.
You know as well as I know, people like to sit there,
Sure.
like the bitch, like the moan, but they won't go through the proper channels.
Thank you, Mr. Bartholomew.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Anyone else? Any?
Good evening, I'm George Lopez. I live at 653 Garden Avenue. The presence of the motion of the proposal about trees on the agenda today prompted me to look into the tree ordinances, and I found a couple interesting things. One of them is, I'd like to inform the mayor, the council, and the city officials who are present that several trees along the first block of Garden Avenue, where I live, contain dead limbs and broken limbs hanging up in the trees, and have already dropped dead limbs down onto my yard and the sidewalk, and are therefore dangerous to pedestrians and public travelers along Garden Avenue in violation of Section 2158 of the Olean Code ordinances. Second, regarding parking space widths, I hereby inform you that the 3 parking places at the south end of the Olean Public Library parking lot and all of the parking places in the Bluebird Square parking lot adjacent to the south end of the Olean Public Library are only 8 feet wide in violation of Section 10.3.4 of the Olean Code of Ordinances, which mandates parking space widths of at least 9 feet. Finally, or almost finally, regarding your proposed resolution number 76-19 from an unidentified alderperson to amend the City of Olean Code of Ordinances, Section 2162, tree removal required of property owners. I note that the agenda for this evening's meeting does not provide any indication as to why some unidentified alderperson among you advocates that the city's current prohibition of the planting of poplar trees in the subways of the city and the city's standing declaration that all poplar trees are a nuisance, both in Section 2162 of the city's Olean Code ordinances, ought to be rescinded. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lepenis. Anyone else? Anyone else? Would anyone else like to speak? Okay, at this time I will call the public comment closed. On to finance and bills.
We have none.
Resolutions. Before we go into the resolutions, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules. Could I get a second, please?
Second.
Second by Alderman Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
We'll make a motion to amend the agenda to include Resolution 79-19. Could I get a second, please? Second by Alderman Andreano. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move forward.
Resolution 76-19, PL 72-19, to amend the City of Olean Code of Ordinances, Section 21-62, tree removal required by property owners. We're gonna need sponsor for this.
Okay, so this is something that we discussed I believe a couple of weeks ago, and you know, it's a win-win for everybody involved. It allows a homeowner to go out and get really the cheapest rate possible for trees in the city right-of-way, and if approved from the city, then the city reimburses half of that back. So it may prove to be cheaper for the city and cheaper for the homeowner. So we talked about this. Any comments or questions? Nate, would you like to sponsor?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Absolutely. And could I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Dougherty. No further questions? Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Witte?
Yes.
Alderman Adjournment?
Yes.
Alderman Gonzalez?
Yes.
Alderman Dougherty?
Yes.
Alderman Smith?
Yes.
Alderman George?
Yes.
And Alderman Crawford.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Resolution 77-19, PL 73-19, to amend the City of Olean Code of Ordinances, Section 24-155, to prohibit parking on the north side of South Street for a period of time longer than 2 hours between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.
All right, this too was discussed a couple weeks ago. Any comments or questions on this? Seeing none, will the clerk please, we need some sponsors. Could I get a sponsor, please?
I'll sponsor.
Sponsored by Alderman Gonzalez, seconded by Alderman Witte.
Alderman Witte,
Yes.
Alderman Adriano,
Yes.
Alderman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Alderman Dougherty,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman George,
Yes.
and Alderman Crawford.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Resolution 78-19, PL 74-19, to amend the City of Olean Code of Ordinances, Section 24-135, to prohibit parking on the east side of North Berry Street for a distance of 20 feet from the south curb line of Tompkins Street.
All right, this too was discussed in committees. Any comments or questions on this? Okay, I can't recall who brought this one up.
I brought it up.
Kevin, would you like to sponsor?
Of course I will.
Okay, could I get a second, please?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Witte. Yep, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Witte,
Yes.
Alderman Adriano,
Yes.
Alderman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Alderman Dougherty,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman George,
Yes.
and Alderman Crawford.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0. Resolution 79-19, PL 76-19, to confirm the mayoral reappointment of Greg Toyota as city assessor for the term October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2025.
Mayor, do you want to make it?
Yeah, this, when Greg took over as the city assessor, he was filling out the term of Nancy Champlin, who was the assessor. All the assessors come due at their 6-year appointments. This is just some housekeeping that we missed, so we need to do this so that I can continue to be our assessor.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the council? All right, could I get a sponsor, please?
I'll sponsor.
Second.
Wow. Sponsored by Alderman Gonzalez, seconded by, I think, Alderman
Dougherty.
Yeah. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Witte,
Yes.
Alderman Adriano,
Yes.
Alderman Gonzalez,
Yes.
Alderman Dougherty,
Yes.
Alderman Smith,
Yes.
Alderman George,
Yes.
and Alderman Crawford.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Anything before we adjourn? Alderman Witte.
Thank you. I just wanted to answer Kevin's concerns. A couple weeks ago, I was called by several neighbors on Queen Street about concerns of big trucks going up and down Queen Street, opening of that street. And people on Queen Street are not thrilled about it because their vision is you're going to have traffic racing out through there to kind of cut out going up Front Street, that whole 9 yards. At that point, I did take pictures. I did bring it to the mayor's attention, the DPW's attention, and our city attorney's attention, where they told me that this is basically a private individual, but it's also occurring in the town of Olean, which I knew that, but I just wanted our council and the others. So we have been aware of that situation up there. And at that point, the town of Olean didn't know about it. So there's a lot going on there that is out of our control. Again, it's private property.
If I may also, we've been told by the town that that is considered a private driveway at this point in time. The person who owns it is looking to parcel it off and sell parcels up there for development.
Thank you to both of you. Anyone else? Seeing nothing, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Could I get a second, please? Second by Alderman Adriano. All in favor?
Aye.